Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Puck Drills and Quick Thrills by Finley and Saxon James. Narrated by Cendese and Iggy Toma. Chapter 1. Wesley. I march across campus like I'm on a mission, because I am. Professor Eckstein just made my shit list, and it's really hard to do that. I don't hate anyone. I rarely get mad, unless it's at my brother Asher, for doing something stupid, which he does, a lot. But even Asher's not on my shit list. Being a hockey coach and an ex-NHL player, I have dealt with a lot of overgrown, testosterone-filled man-children in my life. It takes some epic levels of assholism to piss me off. Without having met Professor Fuckstain, he's already managed to get on my bad side. What kind of a cold-hearted a-hole does he have to be to deny a student extra credit when they're dealing with real-life shit? My brother's grades aren't great. I'm not delusional here, and yeah, he could maybe dedicate more time to study, but when? When does Asher get the chance? He goes to classes, then to hockey practice, then we go home to a house full of kids that I'm responsible for because our parents went out to dinner one night, lost control of their car, and never came home. I'm the legal guardian of 5 minors, when a year ago I was throwing my money away on partying and sleeping with anything that moves. Responsibility hit me harder than an enforcer with a grudge, and it feels like I've been slammed into the boards repeatedly ever since. There's no way I could handle it all on my own. So I asked Asher to postpone his spot in the NHL to play Division I college hockey and help me around the house. It's only until he graduates and the kids are a bit older. Hopefully after 4 years, I'll actually have the hang of this pseudo-parenting thing. Asher may be above asking for help, but I'm not. Plus, I felt it needed to be us who looked after them. We're their big brothers, and I didn't want strangers raising them. Because of the sacrifices Asher's making, I'll do anything to make sure the NHL is still in the future for him. I got my chance, he needs his. Just as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. The first step of making sure that happens is keeping Asher on the team. The fact he asked for extra credit and admitted he needs help is a big thing for my stubborn-headed 21-year-old brother. And this fucking professor shoots him down because why? He likes being a sadistic asshole to his students? Asher's not dumb. He has the brains, but it's hard for him to retain information he doesn't care about. He only cares about hockey, and until recently, I understood it because I was the same. Now I have other shit to care about, like making sure my 5 siblings don't have a traumatic adolescence. I have to say I'm not off to a great start. I'm the epitome of that meme where everything's on fire with the caption, "Everything is fine." I've just gotten Asher to actually put in some effort with his classes, and I thought it was paying off. But I could tell as soon as he walked into practice today, he wasn't only pissed off, he was defeated. Isn't it a teacher's job to encourage their students? I storm into the mathematics building but have absolutely no idea where I'm going. It's been 6 years since I walked these halls as a student, and Fuckstain wasn't one of the professors then, so I don't know where his office is. As I pass by the different lecture halls and classrooms, I scan each of the doors, trying to find his name, and then near the end of the building, I find it. Prof. Jasper Eckstein. I barge through the door without even pausing to knock. The guy behind the desk startles at my abrupt entry, but all the words die on my lips as soon as we lock eyes. His are the palest blue I've ever seen, and he has a jawline that could cut glass. I was expecting an old grumpy dude with gray hair and beard. I was not expecting this. Jasper Eckstein is sex wrapped up in the package of a Sunday school teacher. From his light brown hair, filled-out muscles trying to break the seams of his tweed jacket, and pleasantly curious expression, I think I've walked into the wrong office. Or Eckstein shares the space with the Adonis in front of me. He's mid-30s at most. This can't be the professor who has a reputation for hating jocks. He doesn't look mean enough to be bitter. But then he scowls and proves me wrong. "Can I help you?" He's eyeing me the exact same way I'm doing to him, but his gaze catches on the logo on my polo shirt, a C and U with the word hockey underneath. He cuts me off. "You're here about Asher Dalton?" I do have the right office then, and his reputation precedes himself. I am. I'm Wesley, Asher's assistant coach. I remember the dean telling everyone at a function that you didn't attend how great it is to have a recent NHL player at the school. And then he actually boasted about how much they're paying you while simultaneously telling me there's no room in the budget to expand the math department. So yeah, I know who you are. Okay, I think his reputation is actually understated. Asher is, he cuts me off again, not suited for my class. He still has time to drop it, and it won't affect his grades. He can keep his precious spot on the hockey team and pick up a different class next semester. His schedule's too tight as it is. All he was asking for was an extra credit assignment to boost his grade. Not my problem. I don't give extra credit. That's what I told him. And I'm not going to change my mind simply because he sent his big brother to fight his battles. I cock my head. You don't think I missed the same last name, Coach Dalton? What is your problem? I snap. You jocks are all the same. You think you can bully your way into getting what you want, take without asking, and demand exemptions because you can balance on skates and put a disc in a net? I don't give preferential treatment to anyone, let alone those who don't deserve it. We're not asking for preferential treatment, just for some help, which is why you muscled in here without knocking. Look, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told your brother. I can't help you. A big fuck you is on the tip of my tongue, but I can see the official HR complaint now. Why do you work at a sports-dominated school if you hate it so much? The question is rhetorical, but when I turn on my heel to leave, I swear I hear him mutter, I've been asking myself the same thing. I know I'm more than a little tightly wound when Coach Hogan tells me to let up on the boys. I've been barking drills at the team for over an hour with barely a break to catch a breath or hydrate. Asher seems to be the only one enjoying it because it's getting all his anger out from his run-in with Eckstein. The guys hit the showers, and I help the equipment manager, Cole, put away all the cones and nets so I can resurface the ice. But I need to skate for a bit first. I move around the rink, and the phantom sounds of a packed arena fill my ears. Back when I attended this school, we were a good team, but never the best. I only ever saw Frozen 4 my senior year, the year Coach Hogan first started at the school, and even then we were knocked out in the first round. These boys, there's so much talent on the team, so much potential. A few of them have future NHL prospects, and as much as I'd like to say I'm nothing but happy for them, a pang of longing stabs at me when I think about their futures in pro hockey when mine was cut short. Then the longing gets squashed out by guilt because I don't want my siblings to ever think they ruined my life. They're going through loss and grief, and I'm here whining I don't get to be a fuckboy anymore. And I push my legs harder and keep going until my thighs and calf muscles burn. My chest rises and falls in quick pants, and sweat drips down my forehead. The ice beneath my blades, the sting of temperature-controlled rink on my face. I miss playing. It's a vicious cycle. I miss my carefree life and then feel guilty for missing it. Over and over again, I put myself through this emotional torture, but I don't let it show on the outside. I can't. It's my job to keep my shit together, for our family's sake. And speaking of family, I realize I need to get home to relieve the babysitter. Last year, our 15-year-old sister Zoe would look after the kids until Asher and I got home from practice, but it all became too much for her. Amen, sister. Fucking-men. We've hired a nice, recently retired woman who lives down the street to watch them in the afternoons. She makes sure Reese, the 13-year-old, doesn't run off, Hazel, the 11-year-old, does her homework, and Bennett and Emmett, the 9-year-old twins, don't kill each other. Just an average day in the life of a single legal guardian. Welcome to my hell.
Chapter 2. Jasper. Why am I always the goddamn bad guy? I push back my anger long enough to go over tomorrow's lesson plan, but it doesn't take long to bubble to the surface again. Who does Wesley Dalton think he is? Storming into my office to throw a tantrum over his slacker younger brother. That's jocks for you. Acting first and thinking second. Sticking together even when they're in the wrong. And everyone's content to let them get away with it. Something has to be done. Unlike Coach Dalton, I know stomping my feet and expecting to get my way doesn't work. The dean won't care. Wesley is his star recruit, and Asher is their star player. If I go to the dean, I can already see him telling me to give the extra credit and be done with it. Or worse, give Asher a pass even if he doesn't know the material. The jocks in my high school got away with that shit, but I won't allow it in my class. Not happening. Everyone gets an equal opportunity, and everyone has to put in the work to pass. I rub my jaw, the skin rough under my fingers, already needing a shave. The mature side of my brain is telling me to let it go. I stood my ground, I got my outcome. The part of me that's still the bullied teenager I was in high school wants to put him in his place. My juvenile side wins out. Coach Hogan is no better than the dean when it comes to his staff. But where the dean folds under the funding brought in by the sports teams, Coach Hogan doesn't have that stress and likes to keep a tight leash on his coaches and his team. We've never seen eye to eye on much, but I know he won't be impressed to learn his superstar is running around bullying the faculty. Coach Hogan is an asshole jock, but he has morals. By the time I head across campus toward the arena, it's getting late, and if the steady stream of navy and silver windbreakers is anything to go by, I'd say practice has just finished. Some of the team recognize me but don't say anything, which is fine by me. I'm no longer easy to intimidate, but I don't think I'll ever get past large groups making me nervous. I shoulder open the door to the arena and hesitate before picking a direction down the hall. I've never been here, and I honestly thought I'd never have to be. I reach a set of double doors that lead to the rink and decide to shortcut through there to reach the locker room. I'm expecting it to be deserted, but there's a lone figure out on the ice. It's not until I'm closer that I realize who it is. Coach Dalton is skating hard and hasn't noticed me yet. His dark hair is stuck to his forehead with sweat, and I wonder how long he's been at it. He's clearly still got anger to work out with the way he's tearing up and down the rink, bent low, strong legs displaying power in every move. It would almost be attractive if he wasn't an undomesticated caveman. I slip past without him noticing and make my way down the long corridor until I reach Coach Hogan's office. He's sitting beside his desk, staring at something on his monitor. And instead of barging in like an oaf, I knock on the doorframe. It takes a moment, but when he pulls back and sees me, his face stretches into a smug grin. "Eckstein, come to join the hockey team, have you?" "Funny," I answer. "And the last name thing might be how you do it down here, but I've asked you to call me Jasper." "Right, Jasper. Why are you here? Want to whine about my budget some more?" We both know it's bullshit. He interrupts me with a long groan, but I keep talking. Math is the foundation for jobs that will benefit the economy. Engineers, doctors, literally anything to do with computers and coding. We've been over this. I don't make the budget. I just bring in the money for it. For the love of jocks. How is peacocking a prized trait? Sometimes it's like the rest of the world has gone mad. I suck in a long breath as I take the seat across from him. I'm not here to talk budgets. I want you to keep your coaches and players under control. His cocky attitude disappears in a snap. Why? What happened? That's more like it. Asher Dalton is failing my class, so I suggested he drop it in order to keep his place on your team. Instead of following my suggestion, he ran to his big brother. For some reason, Coach Dalton thought storming into my office and making demands would somehow change my mind. Paul leans back in his chair and takes me in. What demands was he making? He wanted me to give Asher extra credit work so he could pass, which I don't do for anyone. It's a blanket policy of mine. When your class is a core subject for numerous degrees, I can usually count on one hand the number of students who actually want to be there. Asher Dalton is far from one of them. And he's far from the first wanting extra credit because he couldn't manage his course load. You'd think you'd reconsider given the circumstances, Paul says. I'm completely unconcerned about whether your players keep their spots or not. I'm not talking about him keeping his spot on the team. I frown. What other circumstance could he mean? It hits me and I almost laugh. Because he's NHL bound? I've heard that thrown around about Asher more times than I can count. Again, I'm unconcerned. One student isn't more important than any other. His lack of argument back is setting me on edge. I swear this school acts as though the Daltons are God's gift to hockey. Just because his brother played professionally doesn't mean he will. He will, because he was already offered a contract with Buffalo, and that kid's talent isn't going anywhere. Know why he turned it down? College hockey was his dream, I throw out glibly. None of this has to do with my class. Because their parents died. Asher came home to help Wes raise their 5 siblings. Oh. Shit. So yeah, he continues. Maybe playing dad is affecting his classes, but he's going to give 0 fucks about failing a math class when he's skating in the NHL. My moral high ground has disappeared from under my feet, and I'm scrambling to keep my point. He's not going to get to the NHL if he's off your team for not keeping up his grades. Paul chuckles. Is math that big a deal? What does a professional hockey player need to know numbers for? Well, how else will they count all that money? My tone is dry, and I don't know what I'm more annoyed about. The fact I didn't know, the fact I feel sorry for him, or that now I do know I can already tell I'm going to have to relax my rule. This is why I don't get involved in my students' lives. I slump back in my seat as Paul links his fingers on his desk. So, about that extra credit. I huff and shove away from the desk, leaving before I answer him. My annoyance doesn't even last until the end of the corridor, where I almost run headfirst into Wesley Dalton. His eyes immediately narrow. What are you doing here? Leaving. I step around him but can't help glancing back as I walk away. He's, late 20s? And already he's had to go through giving up his dream job and losing his parents. No. I'm not going down that path. Yes, I feel bad for their situation, because no one deserves that. But I won't feel bad for them specifically. Because if there's one thing I know, people like Wesley and Asher will always bounce back, while the rest of us are left behind. My mood is heavy when I finally climb into my car and notice a stream of notifications on my screen. I swipe them away without bothering to check, and go to remove myself from the group yet again. But like the last times I've tried, I can't do it. I'm not sure who added me, but I doubt anyone would notice if I left. There are a few hundred people in the group for our 20-year high school reunion, and only a few of those names stand out. Not for a good reason. Thomas Harvey, Clayton Rees. I imagine for the billionth time showing up and proving to those losers that I've made it. I have a great job and a nice house. I fixed my teeth and my eyesight, and I'm no longer scrawny and weak. I can't fix being gay, and wouldn't want to anyway. In my dreams, I take a date so smoking hot and charming that those assholes question their sexuality a little too. It doesn't matter, though. Because while I'm quick-witted and above it all in my head, seeing their names makes my chest tight and my blood pressure start to rise. I lock my phone without leaving the group, again, and try not to sigh as I turn on my car. It's not like I don't have more pressing headaches to deal with. Like Asher Dalton, and how the hell I'm going to put extra credit on the table.
Chapter 3. Wesley.
West! Reese broke my laptop!
Hazel yells from the dining table where she usually sits her ass from the moment she gets home from school until I tell her to go to bed. If she's not doing homework, she's online with her friends. I didn't break it, I unplugged it, Reese says with all the energy of an emo 13-year-old. I needed to charge my tablet.
The battery on my laptop is all messed up, and if you let it run flat, it's dead. Like super dead,
Hazel says. Reese, fix it. I say, turning back to the stove. I'm trying to cook dinner after having to make the embarrassing call to tell my boss I couldn't come in for practice because our babysitter is sick. Skipping work only adds to my ever-present guilt. I feel guilty for not being at work, but when I'm with the team, I feel guilty for not being at home with the kids. Technically, I didn't have to take the job at CU. Between the NHL money I earned, minus a considerable chunk for reckless living and spending, and life insurance from our parents, we're not suffering. But that money won't last forever, and Coach Hogan offered me the coaching job when he found out I was back. Maybe I should have declined the position until the kids were older, but coaching at the collegiate level isn't exactly given to you every day, and positions rarely come up. If I hadn't taken it, it might have ruined my chance of getting in the game at a later date. Paul is a great boss, and so lenient when it comes to my home life.
It's not turning back on,
Hazel screeches. I sigh, put down the pan, and leave the kitchen to find her pressing the power button every couple of seconds, harder and harder each time. Hazel. She keeps pressing it, more frantically now. I reach for her hand. Hazel, I'll buy you a new one. Tears fill her blue eyes.
Forget it.
As she stands, the chair behind her topples over and she storms up the stairs. The behavior is so unlike her, I stand there staring, unsure what to do.
Fuck, 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 fuck,
Reese chants and runs his hands through his messy, dark blonde hair. Language, I scold. You don't get it, do you? Reese takes over trying to turn the computer on. All the photos Hazel has of Mom and Dad are on this laptop. Oh, fuck. I forgot. I forgot about the stupid don't unplug her laptop rule, okay? I wasn't thinking. And now, oh shit, what have I done? See, this is the type of thing I'm not equipped to handle. I can't throw money at it to make it all better. I'm still trying to figure out a solution when the blaring sound of the smoke alarm in the kitchen goes off. Double fuck. I run in there and throw the pan right into the sink and douse it with water. With the amount of food Asher and I burn, it would probably be more cost-efficient to get takeout every night. Doubt seeps in that I can do this at all, but then Asher waltzes through the door after practice, whistling like he doesn't have a care in the world. It's the first time in a long time I've seen him look remotely happy. His dark hair that matches mine is still wet from the showers in the locker room, but that's definitely a smile on his lips. Who are you, and what have you done with Asher Dalton? I ask. Ha! Funny. So funny. Why's Reese freaking out? And, he pauses, can I hear crying? Wait, is that smoke? Burn dinner again? I slump. Reese unplugged Hazel's laptop, and the battery died, and now she's freaking out that she's lost all her photos of Dad and June. June was Asher's and my stepmom. Our mother died when Asher was just a baby. This family has suffered way too much death, and all I want to do is make it easier on my siblings. And I'm failing. Can we take it to a tech store? Asher asks. They're good with recovering stuff like that, right? We should probably get her an external hard drive, too, or sync her computer to the cloud so it doesn't happen again. And this is exactly why I asked my brother to help out with the kids. We're the same, yet so different. There's a balance between us, one of us stormy, the other calm at any given time. Though in those moments where we both got dark clouds rolling above us, the world needs to watch out because all hell is about to break loose. But in times like this, where I'm lost, he has an uncanny knack of bringing me down and helping me to think rationally. We have issues, and I'll never deny that. Asher's been lashing out at everyone and everything since that fateful car crash, except at our younger siblings. Like me, he can't deal with the thought of them thinking their grief has ruined our futures, so he always plasters on a smile for them and pretends he's not dying inside, the same way I pretend I'm handling everything and am not drowning every single day. I can tell when Ash is faking his smile for them, but there's nothing fake about the smile he has right now. Why are you so happy? Oh, no big deal or anything, just Professor Fuckstein. Genuine fear slices through me. Fear for my job and Ash's future. Oh, please don't tell me you vandalized his car or TP'd his office. I rub my temples. Please tell me you didn't kill him. Asher snorts. Heh, you're funny today. You get laid recently? He holds up his hand. Actually, on second thought, don't answer that. Don't want or need to know. I don't tell him I'm not trying to be funny. With Asher, any of the above could be a legitimate concern. Sure, murder might be a stretch, but not a far one. It's something better, he says. He ate his words. Whatever you said to him the other day worked. He offered me a take-home, open-book test to earn the extra credit I need to stay in his class and get a C. Okay, that I was not expecting at all. Really? I was as shocked as you. I'd already decided I wasn't going to drop the class. Cole's been tutoring me, and he says I know the material enough to pass it, but now it'll be that little bit easier. I replay the conversation I had with Eckstein and have no idea how any of it could lead to him changing his mind. Aw, shit. Does this mean I have to, thank him? Fuck my life. For the second time since being back at CU, I walk the halls of the math building. Only this time I'm trying to swallow my pride and do the right thing. I don't know what made Eckstein change his mind, but I don't want him to think he's right about jocks only caring about themselves. The least the guy deserves is some gratitude. I'm calm enough to use my manners this time and knock. Office hours are stated on the door. His voice is muffled but clear, and I throw my head back. This guy is an ass. I walk in anyway. What was that about manners? I'm not here about my grades, sir. His head snaps up. Oh, what do you want now? Want me to give Asher an A just for the hell of it? I put my hands up like a busted perp. I wanted to say thank you for reconsidering. We really appreciate it. I don't need him to respond, and I don't want to get into another heated argument with him, so I turn on my heel to leave. I didn't know, he says softly. I glance at him over my shoulder. Didn't know what? When Asher said he had extenuating circumstances, I didn't know what he meant. I turned to face him. Did you ask? He huffs. Look, I'm sorry I jumped to the wrong conclusion, but after everything I've seen, it was the easiest and most logical jump to make. Why do you hate athletes so much? You have to know what's said about you on campus. What happened? Hockey player break your heart? For a split second, I realize he hasn't told me his sexuality, and I worry that other things I've heard about him on campus aren't true. But what he says is even worse than hearing the disappointing words, I'm straight. They broke my face, actually, and not just one hockey player, a whole team of them. My eyes widen. What? But hey, maybe I should thank them. Their parents paid to fix my teeth, which is good because mine couldn't afford the braces I needed to straighten them. I blink at him, and then blink again. Fuck. I'm sorry. I don't need your sympathy. I'm sorry for assuming your brother was a slacker and looking for an easy pass when there's obviously a lot more going on than that. But we don't need to do this. It's done. I'll give him a break, and you can go back to acting like a caveman. Just not around me. I'm sorry, I manage, for barging in here, and thank you, again, for giving Asher a chance. If there's any way I can repay you, there isn't. Not even taking you to lunch? I'd prefer you didn't. I huff a small laugh. Okay, then. If you can think of anything, don't hesitate. He nods, and I leave, but as I walk out, I can't help hoping he takes me up on the offer. I'm kind of intrigued by him. He's jaded and strict, but I'm sure he has his reasons. My interest has nothing to do with how hot I find him. Well, not completely to do with how hot I find him.
Chapter 4. Jasper. The end of the day cannot come fast enough. As soon as class is over and the final students trickle from the room, I hook my bag over my shoulder and head for the next building. Despite the reputation I have for being a hard ass, I get along with most people. And out of everyone on campus, Dave and I clicked immediately. He's a 6'4" bearded gay man who teaches fine arts. And when we first met, I was disappointed he was married. Now I'm grateful to have a friend to catch up with every week. He's in his classroom packing away supplies when I arrive. Almost done? I ask by way of greeting. He chuckles. Rough day? I need a drink. Me too. But because I want one, not because I have any sorrows to drown. He points at a sculpture to one side of the room. I mean, would you look at this? She's talented as hell, Jas, and I get to teach that. Damn, we have the greatest jobs, am I right? I give him a blank look that sets off more gut-quivering laughter in him. Do I love my job? Of course. It's fulfilling to know that what I teach has purpose and provides the building blocks for students to go on and do great things, even if it goes completely unappreciated. But I'll never be anyone's favorite professor. I'll never see the excited passion that exists in a classroom like this. Simply.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?